Hello everybody, welcome back to the ZHP Garage. Hope you guys are all doing well. So we are going to be taking a step out of the ZHP Garage into a rental garage, shop, warehouse, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to be working on an 89 Dodge truck with a 12 valve in it, and we're going to be diagnosing an issue that is going on with this 12 valve. So supposedly it's partially taken apart from the owner, that he took it apart a little bit, and there was a piece of what looked like a piece of a valve inside of the turbo, and it was making noise inside of the turbo, spinning around in the turbo, and it was messing up the turbo. So we're gonna be taking the thing apart and seeing what it looks like, seeing what went wrong, and see if something exploded, you know, if something crazy happened. So before we head over, if you please go down below, hit the subscribe button if you enjoyed the video, and let's go over to where the Dodge is, and let's diagnose this thing, let's tear it apart.
Today we're diagnosing a good old 12 valve Cummins. The customer said it was making a noise, which is kind of hard to understand because they make all kinds of noise, but it wasn't making it louder than normal noise. So he took the turbo off of it, and he found this piece, looks like a piece of valve, came out in the exhaust side of the turbo. And I took the turbo apart here, and you can see that it was rattling around in here, and that it chipped a tooth there. And it bent its teeth over the turbine wheel here. It's bounced around there for a while. So we're gonna see where this piece came from. It definitely looks like a valve, and looks like an exhaust valve, being that it was in the exhaust. So we're gonna diagnose this thing. We're gonna take it apart and see what's going on. So I'm gonna start with disconnecting the battery in this thing, because we got some intake heaters and stuff going on over here, and I don't know if the key's on. So we're just gonna make sure nothing happens. So we're gonna disconnect the ground. All right, so now I'm gonna pop this intake out of the way. So we got our dipstick attached to it. Get that out of there. Gotta get this bracket out of the way too. I don't know if you know or not that Dodges don't have glow plugs, so they run an intake air heater. So that's why the Dodges don't have glow plugs. We got our intake air heater right here, so we're gonna be careful with this. Get some wires and stuff. That's another reason why I disconnect the battery. This is the high voltage. Get this bracket out of the way here. So on the back here, you can see we have pretty much our battery voltage is what it is. It goes to a high amp relay for our intake heater here. So we gotta be careful on these little terminals. We got two of them because we got our power ground. Set those up to the side. See, little intake heater, intake air heater, no glow plugs. So now we'll pull our little rocker covers off. See if we see anything that's crazy in here. So far, everything looks okay, but the rockers are holding the valve spring in place. So I won't be able to really tell anything until I pull the rockers off, because then if the valve is broken, if it's broken at the bottom of the valve, and then it still has a stem in there, so the spring pressure is going to push it up, and that's when it's going to show if I have one that's messed up. So I'm going to get these fuel lines out of the way. So we'll take the fuel lines off here next, and then I'm going to take these rockers off and see if any of them show that it's broken, see which cylinder it is. So I'm gonna pull all these fuel lines off of the injectors here. Then we'll pull them loose here at the back of the injection pump. I'm gonna keep these all together, so I'm just gonna take this whole bracket off of here. Get all these out of the way. Now we have a good view. So now we're gonna take these rockers off. And these guys here are part of the head bolts, so these are gonna be really tight. So I get a breaker bar for those ones. Pull these out of the way. None of them are showing that they're broke yet. Pull the push rods out. See if any of them are bent. Nothing's standing out yet. Everything's looking okay so far. So I'm gonna get these heater hoses out of the way. The coolant here. We can get that aside. And originally I was gonna try to just pick it up, but we have the option using a forklift. So I'm just gonna leave the exhaust manifold on it for right now, and we'll pick it up by the little lift points here. So I got both the clamps off, but these hoses been on there for a little while. They're a little stuck. So I'm gonna break them loose here with a pair of pliers. Give them a little twist. I gotta get this hold down off here first. It seems like it wants to break. Well, it might come out. Oh, a little rusty. This is just the feed here for the turbo. So that's gonna stay. So now we got some slop in this thing. We can pull it up. We'll pull it off of here now. Boy, look at that. Jeez. Now we get this stuff out of the way. We'll just set this off to the side over here. So everything over here is all loose. So now we need to focus on this side here, see what we need to disconnect. Unplug that. You gotta be careful with these little lock connectors. They get brittle and hard. You don't want them breaking on you. So this is gonna come with it, this little fuel filter. So we just need to get it loose back here at the low pressure pump. So we'll just take it loose right here. Take this ground off up here. And you wanna use 2 wrenches on here. I think what I'm gonna do, just so this line, because it hangs down, I don't want it catching on nothing coming out. So I'm gonna take it loose right here and just take this whole line off and get it out of the way, so I don't have to worry about it catching, coming out and bending it. This one here on the where it goes to the head is a banjo bolt, so got a couple washers on there. Just make sure nothing's falling everywhere. And you see it comes in and it goes to your fuel filter and then comes out and goes to the high pressure pump. The high pressure pump's gonna stay, so it's this line right here. So we need to take it loose. So probably can get away with just taking it loose here at the head. And then this line isn't attached to anything, it would just stay there. So we'll just disconnect it right here. This is the same deal. It's got the washers on here. This is another banjo bolt. So this line now is free. I'm gonna take it off just so it doesn't catch right here because the filter's coming with it and I don't want it to snag it coming up. So I'll just go ahead and take it off right here. Get that out of the way. Now we have the one more line right here. Looks like the fuel return come to the head. It comes right here to the high pressure pump, so I'm gonna take this whole line off of here. So now, looks like we're all free. So we got these return lines here on the injectors. Well, they come around the back and it has another one of those fittings on the back there, so you gotta get that one loose too. The same as that was right here that went to the high pressure pump. There's another one that's back underneath here, so you gotta make sure you get that one loose before we try to lift the head up and bend up all the fuel lines. I'll show it to you after I get it apart. Hold that thought. Way back in here. Gotta dive in. The nice owner of this truck took the whole front of the truck apart for me, so that saved me some time. So now we gotta get this off, because you can see this thermostat housing is gonna come with the cylinder head. But the thermostat housing, part of the alternator bracket. So we gotta get this alternator bracket off now. So that's what we're gonna take off next. Get that alternator out of the way. Oh, that's tight. That's tight. Hold on. Give a little persuasion. This guy over here, we're just gonna let it hang over. We'll put this bottom bolt back in here. I'll keep it from falling off. It can just sit there. All right, so this is gonna come with the cylinder head. Exhaust manifold's gonna come with the cylinder head. So now it looks like we're all the accessory stuff is off the head. So now we're gonna take all the head bolts. We're down here, here, all the way. We already did this row right here. So now we're gonna break these with the breaker bar, and these ones, and then down here. We'll break them all loose and then we can get them with a little impact. So now we should be free. Double check, make sure I didn't miss any. Got my little pry bar here. I'm just gonna come in here on top of the block and the manifold here and just give a little rock. See if it'll come up. We see we're moving, so we're broke loose. So now instead of trying to manhandle it, we're gonna cheat. We're gonna get the forklift in here. We're gonna put a chain across these 2 lift points. Got our little chain here we're gonna throw on. We got a couple little chain links here. We're gonna wrap, I think it'd be easiest. Oh, now I got the chain stuck. I think I'm gonna have the chain go through, so it's carrying all the load and it'll just go to itself here. This is pretty overkill setup anyways, but we don't want to drop anything. All right, we're ready.
On this episode of The World's Strongest Man.
Yeah. Let me just go ahead and curl it off real quick. Yeah, right.
So before we pull this head off and see what's going on with it, I would like to send my thanks to Patriot Portable Restrooms for being the sponsor of this video. So if you guys are ever in a crappy situation and you are on a job site, construction job site, and you need portable restroom, or you got a venue that you're setting up and you need portable restrooms, they are your go-to company for that. Go to their website, wepumpit.com, and also thank the owner for letting us diagnose this 12-valve Cummins. Let's get back to it. Let's pull this thing off, see what's going on.
There you go, there you go. Come on, a little more. Get a little insurance on here. All right, just try to come straight up with it. You're clear. Just watch the back there. All right, well, we got the head off, and we got some good news and we got some bad news. The good news is we got all the valves. Got them all there. And you can see that it looks like these 3 are newer. So this is an intake, and that's an intake, and this is an exhaust. So I'm assuming this is the valve that used to be in here. So I'm guessing what happened is this somehow made it into the exhaust somehow, and nobody found it. And they left it in there. Well, because they didn't find it. So then they must have put it back together after fixing it, because you can see that this head's been surfaced. It's really nice. I'll show you the engine in a minute. The cylinders are like fresh honed, like it's new. So they must have fixed this and then never found the piece. So it must have been in the exhaust here somewhere, and it made it to the turbo. So bad news is we need a turbo, obviously. We don't need a head. We don't need any valves. We're gonna clean the head surface on the block, get some new bolts, new gasket. Make sure if you have a problem, find all the pieces when it goes bang. Get them all out before you put it back together. You see the cylinders here. See how this thing, man, this is fresh. So somebody has already gone in here. Looks like they just honed it. I don't think they bored it. Got a little line right there, but it's definitely a fresh build. They surfaced it, surfaced the head, surfaced the block. Didn't find the piece, man. You gotta find the piece. So we're gonna clean this guy up. This is a line I was trying to show you that I was taking off before I took the head off. This here is what goes up to the injector return lines. This is the return port. This is what I was trying to get to. So this is the one you want to take off. You can see how it comes up and then goes to the injection pump. And then this is the other one that I did take off that comes up to the front. So we got the head up here on the bench. I'm gonna flip it over. Well, clean up both sides, get it all cleaned up. We're gonna get a new turbo, a little bit bigger turbo. We're gonna get a little more power out of this thing. So we're gonna get a little bit bigger turbo. This thing cleaned up, get some gaskets, some bolts, get it put back together. So come back for part 2, round 2.
All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed that video. We thought there was gonna be more
carnage,
more explosion to it, but looks like whoever took it apart before just didn't get that little piece out of there.
Amateurs.
Telling me, man. They didn't have a master mechanic.
So this guy.
They had yeah, they had me. Rookie mechanic. Hit the subscribe button down below if you're a diesel guy. Comment down in the comments. Say I love diesels in the comments if you love diesels.
Get them rock tumblers.
Big, bold, capital letters. I love diesel.
Roll some coal. Let's go.
All right. Stay tuned for the part where we put it back together. And we'll see you guys next time.